When superheroes team up, it can make for a pretty epic story arc. Since the Golden Age, we've witnessed some of our favorite superheroes teaming up to take on evil, usually in lighthearted tales. These days, comics are a lot bolder and humorous, but one thing remains the same. We love the bromances these team-ups blossom into. The personal relationships it fosters between the characters is sometimes even more enjoyable than the action itself. So today we're taking a look at a few of the most memorable bromances in comic book history, with our list of the top 10 superhero bromances. At number 10, Green Lantern and Green Arrow. Sometimes what makes a great bromance is when two heroes with completely different philosophies are paired together. Such is the case with Green Lantern and Green Arrow. While Green Arrow may not have been the most memorable character upon his debut, he was a little bit like a Batman ripoff who dressed up like Robin Hood and shot arrows. Once he teamed up with Hal Jordan in the 60s, all that changed. For context, in the 60s, comics were going through quite the revival. We were still dealing with the after effects of censorship via the Comics Code Authority, and there was a massive flourishing underground comic scene constantly pushing boundaries with scandalous subject matter. Mainstream comics began to challenge censorship too, by addressing banned subject matter in comics as PSAs. So stories combating drug use and addressing social issues started popping up, including the Green Lantern and Green Arrow comics. Oliver Queen's millionaire roots were dropped. He became the voice of progressivism, and a voice of radical change. Hal Jordan, on the other hand, was all about using the system to take action, and relying on the established authorities to fix problems. Up next at number 9, Superman and Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen started off being Superman's #1 fanboy. Early Golden Age stories usually involved him being Superman's cheerleader, or managing to get himself into trouble that the Man of Steel would then have to clean up. This led to Jimmy getting his own comic book in the Silver Age, aptly called Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. So of course, being the Silver Age, all sorts of shenanigans occurred. The likes of Jimmy turning into a giant turtle man, Jimmy traveling to the past and ripping off the Beatles, and even Jimmy gaining stretching powers that he uses to try to impress women. All of which then follows with Superman saving the day, or saving Jimmy's dignity, with sometimes Jimmy getting some of that glory too. The series is also notorious for featuring some of the most absurd covers during the Silver Age, and was partially responsible for some of the covers that are now used as memes of Superman acting like an asshole. Thanks, Jimmy. And at number 8, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. In the 80s, Ted Kord's Blue Beetle and Michael John Carter's Booster Gold were paired up together, a wisecracking inventor with a hero who could travel through time. What made them memorable was that their team-ups often consisted of get-rich-quick schemes, with the running joke being that these two heroes were always short on cash. It made for a goofy and entertaining comic that fans quickly caught on to, but unfortunately we haven't seen much of the duo these days. The New 52 introduced a new Blue Beetle altogether, and prior to that, Ted was killed off. Up next, number 7, Captain Marvel and Spider-Woman. Ladies can have bromances too, and Captain Marvel aka Carol Danvers and Spider-Woman aka Jessica Drew are a prime example of this. These two gal pals have been through a lot together. They fought aliens, they fought dinosaurs, and they even helped each other deal with pest control issues. Jessica Drew isn't a fan of rats. Plus, they're always full of witty remarks and good old banter. They annoy the crap out of each other, but still adore one another regardless. These two friends would go on to major lengths to help one another though. Back when Jessica was pregnant, Carol was there for her, big time, and even had her stay in the Alpha Flight's maternity ward where she would be safe, even though that backfired when the Skrulls attacked. But hey, they gotta have that one together too. Yay, bromances! Up next at 6, Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Similar to DC using Green Lantern and Green Arrow to be in touch with the times, Marvel's use of Luke Cage and Iron Fist follows a similar pattern, except instead of social issues, they satisfied newly popular pop culture trends, kung fu and blaxploitation. When sales of both individual characters started to diminish, Marvel combined the titles. Power Man and Iron Fist was born, and the series had a buddy cop dynamic. These days you can catch Cage and Danny Rand working together on their Netflix shows, and more specifically, The Defenders, although most Marvel fans would probably prefer if Netflix's Iron Fist just didn't exist at all. And at number 5, Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent. One of the newer bromances to hit the scene is that of Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent, Robin and Superboy. While the Robins and Superboys of the past have usually fallen into a bromance, mainly because of the bromance their older counterparts have, more on that later though, these two in particular have been winning the hearts of fans since Rebirth. Damian, son of Bruce Wayne, was raised by Ra's al Ghul, and Jonathan, son of Superman and Lois Lane, was raised in a rural town. The two have completely contrasting backstories and perspectives. Jonathan is afraid of letting his parents down, whereas Damian is certain that he is the heir to the Batman mantle. This makes their dynamic incredibly fun, and has made for some really fantastic moments in Rebirth so far. And at number 4, Spider-Man and Human Torch. Who doesn't love a good pair of frenemies? Spider-Man and the Human Torch are definitely that, and they never miss an opportunity to take a verbal shot at one another, although they have gone into physical fights in the past too. Funny enough, one of Peter Parker's most memorable traits is thanks to Johnny Storm. During Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 3, Storm gives a speech at Peter's school about never giving up, an attitude that Peter then adopts from then on out. Later on, in Strange Tales Annual No. 2, the two team up with Spidey trying to help Storm out, who has been framed by a robbery, which then turned into a more hostile back and forth between the two heroes that has continued onwards for years, but has grown into a deep-seated respect for one another. Up next at 3, Spider-Man and Deadpool. The Human Torch isn't Spidey's only bromance. His pal Deadpool would definitely see to that. While some initially complained that the bromance between these two characters was a forced attempt by Marvel to make a buck off two of their most popular heroes, the duo proved to have amazing chemistry, and provided a whole lot of laughs. Fueled by wisecracks, meta humor, double dates, and Deadpool's ceaseless flirtations, even in the toughest of situations these two proved to be entertaining, a friendship that has transcended the comics into animated versions of the characters too. And at number 2, Batman and Superman. Batman and Superman are the OG bromance. The poster boys for DC Comics, these two are proof that opposites attract. Attract readers, that is. Practically foils of one another, Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent's bromance began in the Golden Age when the two would team up in World's Finest, in which the two combined efforts during World War II, and later in the Silver Age, when they got up to some odd shenanigans. The bromance was then tested in the late 80s, when Frank Miller put the two in combat together in a story that was much more dark and grim compared to previous arcs that they engaged within. It tested their different ideologies, setting up a rivalry that would continue for years to come. Despite this, the two operate together on the Justice League, with the most recent reboot having the two learn to bond and trust each other from scratch again. And finally, in our number 1 spot, Deadpool and Cable. Prior to their bromance flourishing, Cable and Deadpool were the most unlikely couple. The two came together as an attempt by Marvel to boost the characters' sales. Their solo titles weren't doing so well at the time, so in 2004, Cable and Deadpool was released. It follows Cable, who is from the future, trying to build a better world, and he's stuck with Wade throughout. The humor in the series is primarily what won people over to this bromance. Cable's stoic nature combined with Deadpool's brand of chaos made them a hilarious duo. Unfortunately, the series ended in 2008, and the two have gone their separate ways, at least until the Deadpool 2 film comes out, which will bring their cinematic counterparts together at last. It may be just the most anticipated bromance to hit the big screen ever. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which of these bromances is your favorite? Which superheroes would you love to see in a bromance? Let us know all of your feels and thoughts in those comments below. If you dug this video, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and make sure to check out other nerdy videos on our channel, like the ones in the playlist flashing on your screen right this minute. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next one.